Recording.
Right, we've got a guest coming on, but not for a little while, because I wanted to cover, or we wanted to cover some ground. There's fairly groundbreaking news actually in relation to the China opening. And I don't know whether you've all signed up for it or even understand what's going on with it, because it's a completely different business model. Bizarre. It's not bizarre. It's just the way that the Chinese law works. So I don't know whether you're familiar with what's going on, but we're just going to share screen quickly. And there we go. Oh, you do it differently to me. Oh, here are you drive.
Okay, so where's
That's probably why one of the reasons why I'm so incompetent at it.
Right, so there we go. Can you everyone see that?
Yep, it come up. So officially launched yesterday. So China is not. Oh, it's being launched as a soft launch actually, which I find a bit odd because it's either launched or it's not launched. But it's as I said, it's a very different model. Now, I don't know if any of you signed up for it yet. Even we haven't.
No, so we're just literally getting our heads around it.
What do you mean?
We wanted to guide you through it. What was that, David?
What do you mean by sign up for it already, and what do you mean by soft launch?
I'm just going to show you, because if you dig into your back office,
so if you go to the launch
under latest news, which is where we are in this screen, you'll see it says Zinzino officially launches in China.
Oh, you probably have to go to the FAQs, is it?
So I'm going to go to the China facts, because it's probably better just to navigate through. Click on that, and it'll take you into this page, which then gives you the explanation. And well, of course, China's enormous. We all know that. We don't really know how enormous, and we've really no idea how much impact it's going to make. But there are these documents down here that helps you to, first of all, understand how you build a business in China. Of course, we could do this in Chinese, but mine's not very good. So we'll go to the English version. And this document comes up, which then gives you a bit of an explanation about it. It's somewhat of a repeat in relation to what's said in the press release, but then it gives you a little bit more in terms of details.
I should say that everything is done through WeChat.
Well, that's where I was going next.
So they don't have WhatsApp in China. They don't have, which actually caused me grief when I was in Shanghai, when I was transiting in Shanghai. I couldn't get hold of Nigel. It was like, oh.
And I don't have WeChat either. So, no. And this is China's, one of China's, one of their controlling mechanisms, because essentially it keeps the ecosystem within China itself less corrupting Western influence is the word I'm looking for. So what Zinzino's done is they've taken WeChat, which is an ecosystem all of its own, unique to China, because everybody uses it, and they built an app within WeChat. So in order for you to be able to effectively connect with with people in China, in mainland and in Hong Kong, you have to have a version of WeChat. Because WeChat is it's the platform everybody uses. So much so that something like $4 trillion worth of products and services are sold through WeChat every year.
But even the payment. So Zinzino China exclusively uses WeChat Pay.
Yeah.
To actually process payments, because it's controlled by the government, which is not perfect, but that's fine. That's what we've got to do to actually work within China. So to actually become part of the Chinese system, you have to register for so international partners here, the mini program on WeChat, and it says you get a verified citizen number, so you can join as a customer or a sales representative. As an international partner, though, without Chinese citizenship, you can still participate by connecting with individuals in China. So if you know any Chinese people, if you know Chinese people who have got contacts, now is the time to get hold of them. It will be massive. It will be massive. So kind of the Chinese takeaway comes to mind, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Who do you know?
Yeah.
Who do you know in China? Well, I know quite a few. So this is a really clever program. So you get a unique, when you register, you get a unique QR code, which is sent back to you by email. And that QR code then provides an online dashboard allowing you to track your customers, sale representatives, and they are, if you send someone, so for instance, I'm just picking at David here. If I was to send my QR code to David in China, he has 30 days to activate and purchase a mini pack or whatever. So there's some sort of pack. So you start with a pack of four products, so 4 balance oil, and then there's another pack, which is a pro pack, which actually contains oils and tests. So once you do the first bit, you are connected to that person permanently. Okay. If they do not connect and pay within 30 days, then they're open territory again to anyone. So make sure if you're connecting with people that you follow them up. Follow them up, follow them up. Can we help you in any way? You know, this, that, the other. So it's going to be a really interesting, I mean, I've still got to get my head around it as well. I was on the launch call. I don't know whether anyone else was, but I was on the launch call, and it kind of, it's a bit haphazard, but yeah, we'll get our heads around it. But it's going to be completely different. The one thing about Chinese is they network really quickly. So it means that you may end up, yes, I'll come to you in a minute, Kelly. You may sign someone up in China, and then all of a sudden they've expanded to their network of people, and all of a sudden you've got 30, 40 people in your business. So you're going to get the benefit of that as well. So yes, Kelly, what did you want to say?
Okay, so this is what I think I'm hearing, is if I talk to somebody here, they would still sign up here with me as a partner, and then they would then talk to people who they knew in China, but this new partner who has contacts in China would need to register on WeChat.
Yes,
but would they sign up here with me in the regular way?
Yes.
And then yes. And then they have a WeChat, assuming they have a WeChat anyway, because they already have contacts in China, you know, they have family and they talk to them. Then
you've got
how do they're already on WeChat, how do they connect they get the Zeno app?
Yeah, so what happens is once they've got that, if they're registered within Zeno, then it will automatically, you need to then activate get your activation code through Zeno. I think it's £26, sorry, £26 or €30 to actually get your registration. And then that will allow you then to be sent back. So can someone
walk around?
Can someone mute themselves, please? So
yeah.
Paul.
I don't know.
Good waste.
It's not me.
Yeah, I'll hold on here.
No, it's Jerry, I think.
Hold on here for a little while.
Sure.
Jerry.
The singer for a little while.
It's not me.
Yeah, do. Relax.
I don't know.
Oh.
Anyway, we're all muted now.
What I was about to say, so think of it like this. China is completely separate. It's just, we've got links into it. The link into it is the China launch, is the China module, which you get from that link I've just highlighted here: shop, partner kits, China start kit, China activation kit. That's in your back office now. So we go back into Zeno.
It's nice, yeah.
Jerry, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you.
Then you go shop. Hang on, I've got to move you again now. No, this bloody control gets in the way.
What are you doing?
Partner, hang on. I'm trying to get to the right place. There we go.
Partner kits.
That's it. Yeah, got it.
China
and then
activation.
China right at the bottom right here. So click on the China active. Oh, that didn't happen either, did it? Hang on.
I don't know what you're doing, babe. I would suggest that you actually just go in and go through the process through your back office.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nigel, come out of there.
Confusing.
He's looking it up.
It is really confusing, right?
No, it's not confusing, but
well, yes, it is, because I'm confused, so it's confusing, right? So all I'm saying is you do need to be registered. So you set up a partner here, someone with the Chinese connections. You sign them in the usual way. They would need to register with the Chinese activation kit, which you do through the back office when you can find the right place. That then connects the two of you together. So you technically do not need to have activated a China activation kit of any kind for yourself, unless you're going to directly sponsor people within China via the WeChat platform. Then you need that kit. Now, I was on the phone with someone yesterday in Hong Kong. I've got another conversation with her on Monday. If she's minded to become involved, I will be using an activation kit because she's technically within the China influence area, even though Hong Kong is kind of, well, it's not anymore, but it was sort of semi-detached from China itself. So she'll need to then have her own WeChat environment, which she will. And then she'll be able to sponsor through her existing WeChat connections, because one of the ways that WeChat actually operates is because you're connected to your own people, your own community within WeChat, then what you're doing gets shared very rapidly and very easily. And of course, that kind of taps into the concept of the 6 degrees of separation, which is everybody knows everybody knows everybody knows everybody knows everybody knows everybody. We've got the whole world connected within 6 steps.
I think what's interesting is that, and if you don't know it about WeChat translates. So if you write something in English, it can be translated instantly into Chinese. So it's quite clever. And any other, kind of a lot of countries use it, especially, kind of if you're talking in Arabic or whatever language, you can actually change it to whatever language you want. So it's quite a clever thing. I downloaded it a couple of years ago when we were doing something else, to do something else. And so I've got it on my phone, but I've rarely used it. So I now need to just go and start building connections. So yeah, quite exciting, really. But
so within the launch sheet, China, it gives you an idea of the way the commissions work. Now, remember, this is within China itself. These commissions are within the Chinese WeChat network. The commissions we get are then paid out of this internationally. And I think the total number, the commissions are less, but you are covered. So the system is kind of firewalled between us and them. The inside of China does all this calculation based on this system. Then out of that comes the transfer back into the main system, which will appear in your back office as a consequence of the percentage that you are entitled to receive based on the relationship that's been developed in China. So nobody knows what's really going to happen yet, because no one's got any experience.
I think it'll be quite exciting.
But it'll start to happen because, China's a big networking country. Yeah. Talk to Steve Morley. He
lived out there for years.
He worked with $3 billion businesses no one's ever heard of outside China. So it's an enormous opportunity when you consider that, I don't know, China is the second biggest economy on the planet behind the US. We all know how big the US is, but China eclipses it when it comes to networking. It's not open in the same way that the rest of the world is to us, which is why they've spent so much time, Zinzino spent so much time actually building this kind of totally separate land ecosystem purely for the Chinese market potential. So
when you've got a spare half an hour, an hour, go in and have a look. If you've got access to the replay, I would go in and replay that again. If you from the launch, it is in Chinese as well, so you can do it in Chinese if you're proficient. Don't think too many of us are. Mind you, kids today are proficient in Chinese.
Some are.
But it's really kind of to try and get your head around it. If you've got any Chinese contacts, I think it will be definitely worth pursuing. I've got a few on LinkedIn, which I'm actually going to address after this weekend, which kind of brings me to, I'm going to have to go shortly as well.
Yeah,
so
she's not here yet.
being picked up at 1:30. So one of the things that we have.
Let's just start
do you want
sharing for a minute.
Stop sharing.
Oh, well, why is it plonked down there?
No, it is. It is.
Just underlines why I hate Zoom.
I know, Nigel hates Zoom. So this weekend we've got London meeting. So obviously the London monthly meeting. So we're just off to that today. So that's going to be a great event. It's usually really busy if you're able to come. So I know Wasama's in that kind of vicinity as well. So if you're able to come to that, it's really good. Then on Sunday, we have the Shepreneur Collective. Now, this is something that Shan, Zoe, Jacqueline Dunn, Sarah Topham, and myself have put together as a collective, really to try and attract women to kind of looking at something that actually can propel themselves into or out of mediocrity into some, kind of transferring into something that actually is quite significant. So I think it's going to be an amazing, and we've got around about 85 people booked, probably have more people booked after today because we're obviously going to promote it again today. But it's really superb. It's from 10 till 3. So 10 till 3 tomorrow. And we've just welcomed Stefan. So 10 till 3 tomorrow in central London. It's at the Royal National Hotel, which is just off Russell Square Tube. It's literally 2 minutes walk from Russell Square Tube. And it's going to be a great day. It's free for guests. It's £10 for partners. But if you have guests in the vicinity, then try and get them there, because I promise you they will be, I think they'll be quite impressed. I think they'll be quite impressed. We're going to hear some amazing testimonials. We have, Jacqueline speaking on the nutritional side of things. She's an award-winning nutritionist. And myself, I'm doing testimonial panel as well with people. I know that David and Jax are coming up as well. David's going to be our photographer for the day. Thank you, David. But I think it will be absolutely superb. The other thing is that we have Hilda zooming in. So she's zooming in and at the end of the meeting, or towards the end of the meeting. But you're going to hear from some incredible people. Shan obviously is going to be there. Zoe is hosting for a day. And we've also got Sarah Topham, who's just gone diamond. And she's transitioned from being a lawyer to a full-time networker. And the kind of the benefits it's actually allowed her to have as well. So I'm going to be going off shortly, so I'm going to be here for another 10 minutes, but I'll let you introduce Stefan.
Thank you. Good morning all. Welcome, Stefan.
You might need to make him co-host you.
I will do in a moment, yes. And you and Sabine can talk without the rest of us should you wish.
Kein Problem, gerne. Hallo Sabine.
Stefan and I have known each other for
centuries,
20 something plus years. We first met when we were in another network, and he was creating some tools for that business that helped a lot. And he and I tied up together with a view to developing the tool you're going to hear a little bit about today. And that's been driven by actually a very well-defined need within the networking landscape. I'll just go back to some base principles for a second, and then he can add to this kind of initial thought, which is the vast majority of new networkers coming in have no experience of the sales environment, and actually what to say, how to say it, and be consistent about presentation is always one of those things that people struggle with, which is why those of us who have got some experience always talk about the three-way call and using the upline to support your connection efforts without doing it on your own when someone new comes on board. And you should be relaying this to your people as well, because what happens, the biggest reason people fail is because they don't know what to say, they don't learn what to say, and they don't implement that consistently, whatever it is they're being taught to say, because it's not, that doesn't feel like them.
They possibly send out too much as well, don't they?
Well, that was the next thing. And so as I described to Stefan earlier, you'll all have probably experienced this to some extent. Someone says to you, you're out at a casual event, and someone says, you always get into, well, what do you do? Well, I'm a lawyer, I'm an accountant, I'm a whatever. And then eventually they'll come around and say, well, what do you do? And that's it. It's like the floodgates are opened. And the mouth starts and doesn't stop. and because you want to teach them everything you know, about, not only about your excitement, also about what you know. That's what we do. That's what we do, because for us, it's really important. But that's a killer as much as anything else is, because too much too soon is just, well, you get indigestion. And it's this adage about, how do you eat an elephant? Well, one mouthful at a time. Let's take the first one. So the essence of what Stefan and I began to build, or was to try and educate and use, was something that was consistent. And actually all he had to do was learn how to use it properly. So Stefan is someone, as I've said, I've known for a very long time.
He's a geek.
Yeah. Well, Sue,
sorry.
It's all right. Sue can insult him without risk.
Yeah, he's family.
Yeah.
He's pretty much family. We
lived
had
with
him
us
living
for a
with
year.
us for a while, way back. And by the way, his English is unbelievably good, and
Yeah.
that's all down to me. So,
And me. And our daughter.
Yes.
He probably learned the profanities from our daughter.
And I think his sense of humor is more English than it is German. So, Stefan, now I've bigged you up. You can introduce yourself and say a little bit too.
Yes, English very good is mine. So thanks, Michael. No, I've got to speak English. Thanks for the introduction. Good morning to everybody. A few have seen me already. Hi, Ruth, and so I welcome Sabine already. Yeah, where do I start? I mean, we've been developing this tool for quite some time, Sabine, and at least Ruth have seen it already. And it's a tool that we have paused for a while because I was busy in the industry, helping other companies to grow. Because I'm usually in a consulting role for MLM companies to help them to optimize their compensation plans and stuff like that. Now, with this tool, it's actually really to address one of the key issues in network marketing. And as Nigel explained, a lot of people don't know what to say. And I was about to add to that, one of the consequences is, in many cases, they're too shy then to start at all. So when the thoughts come up of what do I say, I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say the wrong things. Maybe there might be medical claims. I'm not allowed to do that at all. So I don't know what to do. Let's do it with the next one. That's a typical thing that people do. And the next one will never come. I mean, there will be a lot of next ones, but none will be spoken to. And that's exactly what we wanted to address with this tool, to take away the fear of rejection, to give, especially new partners, a very, very simple way to just approach someone, ask for an email address and a telephone number, and a name, obviously, or just the email address, and send out some information in a consistent, high-quality way that puts you in a nice spot to talk to those people, and where you don't have to explain everything, especially at the beginning, where someone doesn't really know about the product, about the business opportunity, can't talk from experience, doesn't have the success yet because it just started, and to help with that, that's was the main reason to build this tool and to get this going. Nigel, can you make me a co-host so that I can?
Done already.
I've done.
Oh, then I will share my screen just with a very simple email set that we've prepared for you guys. We will talk about availability and stuff like that in a little, but just to give you a very, very brief insight on what this does. So you have to understand that Messenger is a tool like a little bit similar to a newsletter tool. There are predefined emails. You can change them at any time, but in this case, we have a predefined set of business emails, and these are related to the business of Zinzino, obviously. So they come with pictures, they come with a proper design, properly put together with this text, and everything is fine. They can be sent as they are. Now, the interesting thing with Messenger is you don't send the emails from the PC, but you have a mobile app with it that has these emails available. So when you go to your mobile, you can choose that you want to send the business email. And in this case, it's a series of emails. You only have to make the first contact. You talk to someone, get them to give you your phone number, and then a first email, an initial email will be sent. And after that, every second day, there are 9 more emails preparing the path for you to further talk to those people and to get them into the business or into the product, and to make it very easy. So you don't have to worry about remembering, I need to send another email in 2 days' time or anything like that. That happens automatically in the background. So you don't have to worry about it. And everybody who's starting new can use these emails as well. They're instantly personalized. There's instantly a personalization on the links. So all you need to do is to put your, what is it called in Zinzino? You told me of partner ID. That was the one. You only need to put the partner ID into one field for the whole series, one field only. And then all links in there will be personalized to your Zinzino website, to your videos and stuff like that. So all that happens. If someone signs up, it will be on your page. If someone new uses that, they put their ID into this one field, and then all the emails will be personalized to them. And we've prepared all these emails. So when you go for this tool, and Nigel and I and Sue will be talking about this in more details further down the road in the next few weeks and months, it really helps you to get very consistent with your approach, because all you need to do now is really go up to someone and ask them for a telephone number or for the email address in this case, and the name, and that's it. The rest comes automatically. You can get them interested, obviously, or you should get them interested, but after that, the tool is doing the stuff for you, and you don't have to explain what Zinzino is. You don't have to explain what the products do, what the products are. You don't have to talk about network marketing in that case. You just send them the information, and the emails will do the rest. So we've set up, as I said, 10 emails here in a sequence. And you might see that these second and third and all the other emails are kind of indented. And then there's a 10th email to sum the whole thing up and to give it a nice end of the series. And that puts the people in every single email with a call to action into contact with you. They can contact you at any time. They will definitely get to you. If they sign up, it will be under your ID. So that's automatically happening as well. And that is really to make it very simple. You are able to edit these messages. So if I go in here, then you could always do something with it. You could rewrite the text. You could add your own emails if you want to, if they are specific to your profession or to your individual style of the business that you want to do. If you want to tell something about yourself, that can be edited or added, and you can create as many emails as you want, depending on the license, but you can create your own emails and as many as you want, so that you can really tailor that to your needs and can go out with more confidence and sign up more people, bring more people into the business, into the product, and share your vision and your idea of how this could work. As a very brief insight. Nigel, do you want to add something on that one?
Yeah.
Besides giving me compliments for my English, please.
Well, you did a decent job. Let's put it like that.
Thank you very much.
Too much confusion. What we've done so far is we've created this series of 10 all about the business rather than about the product. And part of that's driven by the idea that this year is a defining year for Zinzino. And, we're looking for the 1 million customers, but we're also looking for a lot of new partners. The company's looking for 50,000 new ones, or hit 50,000 this year.
I should be joining you on my mobile in a minute.
That means active ones rather than just partners, because Zinzino's got a lot more than that already, I'm sure. But a lot of them are people who have, for whatever reason, chosen not to continue or become inactive or just become customers. Happens all the time. And that's for all sorts of different reasons. But one of them is driven by this process. As I said earlier, I can cite dozens and dozens of cases of people who have essentially gone their own way in terms of the communication process, reinventing what's being said to potential customers and partners, and effectively failing because they haven't gone through an onboarding process in the right way. Well, no, not necessarily that. They've just refused to engage in the onboarding process. So what we're trying to do with this is focus this year's activity on partner recruitment. This series is designed to do that. It's a step-by-step confidence building process in the idea of what Zinzino does. This doesn't anticipate someone's existing need. It provides information for them to decide whether that need exists. Because everyone makes a choice about whether they join a business like this from a personal perspective. In other words, they've got a reason for it. There's a primary motivator of some kind. It's, I always define my personal audience as people who have reached a glass ceiling in the career they're in. They're either being passed over or they're burned out. Their goals don't align with their organization anymore. They're looking for something else. They're in a space of receptivity in order to change what they have in their lives for a better future in some way or another that only they recognize. Because it's always unique to each individual. It's where they are in their thinking about what they want in their lives. And Zinzino is one of those things that provides an awful lot of potential for people like that, because it's not just about income production or wealth creation. It's also about helping people in a very positive way in relation to what they have in their lives. So this email series, which Stefan didn't really go through in each one, just do me a favor, Stefan, click on the second one and just bring it up. So the first one was an initial introduction to what Zinzino, to what it is, what the business is. And this one just builds on that initial thought a little bit more and starts to address the ideas of the primary motivators. So more freedom over your time, perhaps a bit more purpose if you're looking for that, more money, because that is the common denominator here, and the other things that relate to the idea of doing something slightly different. Because most people that are certainly in the audience I've been describing are trapped but they're in the salary trap. I'm making 5, 6, 7, 8,000 a month. My mortgage is 2, my kids' private school's another 2, blah, blah, blah. I can't afford to do anything else. Well, it's helping people to make or embrace the idea of possibilities. So we just build it up very slowly, because again, Zinzino is appealing to all sorts of different walks of life, as we well know. So Stefan, move to the next one, if you would.
Yeah. Did you see my chat message?
Yep. No. I did not. All right, I'll stop with this one. But now we're just talking about a little bit more about features rather than motivation. Because, it's the ultimate in many people's decision process is, can I do this? Can I do this? My response to that always is, do you choose to do this? And if people choose to do it, then it's motivated by something. Because otherwise, that it's always about the feeling of what they want in the end, what's actually driving process. Remember, thoughts, feelings, action. It's always driven through that process. So what we want to do is to show people there's a possibility that embracing this is much simpler than it might appear on the face of it. Because a lot of us always wait for that bit of extra knowledge. Oh, I'll do it when I know a bit more. And that's what slows everything up at the beginning and eventually leads to inaction instead of action. So what this is designed to do really is to give a framework of communication potential that describes what we do in a consistent way across the board for anybody you meet. And it doesn't matter what the outcome is, because they're always going to get the same thing. Each person gets the same thing. As a consequence, the same ideas are exposed, and those that resonate with them will respond accordingly. And that's what we want ultimately, is the people who are not just interested, but they're motivated to potentially take action. And that is based on knowledge to some extent, but it's also based on the idea of, can I do it? Can I do it? Because the big barrier is, do I see myself doing it? You know, it's that question of motivation. So what we initially created was this series on business development, all about Zinzino as a business and a vehicle to creating some income, wealth ultimately. There are two more to come. One is on the product side of things, because we meet a lot of people that are just interested in their health. They're not well. And one of the things people do like to talk about is how unwell they are. I don't know whether you're familiar with it, but very quickly the subject of, oh, my knees hurt, or, you know, my back hurts, or, oh, I've had this bit of a scare recently, or just about me, you know, like I've got an arse on my head now. It's where's the hook for them? So we'll bring out a series, a similar length series on product. And then I'm going to bring out, or we're going to put in place a blended one that shares the two more, not aggressively, it's the wrong word, but more obviously within the two, within it. Then when we've got new products coming on board, or we've got new tests coming on board, or we've got something we want to share to people, we can just create a campaign and you'll be able to use it within the whole of the landscape of the people you've already chosen. You've already got, in effect. So it's there to help you synthesize the communications with the people that you have. It's not a CRM. We didn't design it to be that. We tried that many years ago, and CRMs in their full blown features and, you know, capacities are too big for most people. They don't, you know, they're just not, they're too complicated. They're all right in organizations, but for individual use, they tend to be too cumbersome. We wanted this very simple tool that helped to take care of the initial communication process, and that's what it does. So, Stefan, back to you. Do you want to talk about availability?
Yeah, it is available. Let me add one more thing, because we can see something here. There are may merge fields in there. So the emails get personalized when you send them out. So it puts automatically the name of the recipient in, it puts your name in, because it doesn't have a sender here at the bottom, which we can see here now. That will automatically fill in. So as a consequence of that, when you get a series like this, you don't have to touch the emails at all. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to put your name in, nothing. It's all done automatically by the system. So it's really plug and play, so to say. So you get the emails and you can use them straight away. If you go out a minute later or a second later, fine, send them out and they will have your name on it. So it's done to a pretty high level. Messenger is available now. We're gonna get out a special offer for you guys. I think we said on Monday, Nigel, did we say that? Sent out an email on Monday, or a notification to this group on Monday, so that you get a special price for it. Yeah, we will come back with the additional series of product-related emails, and with the third one with a mix between product and business pretty soon, and they can be just plugged in and be used straight away. So that's that part. To use it to the full extent, you should have, and probably most have, a smartphone, which can be either an Android or an iOS device. And then we have the apps in the App Store, and those can be used. If you decide to download them upfront already, that's totally fine, but you need to have an account with Messenger to be able to use the phone apps. Otherwise, it doesn't work, because otherwise the content is not there.
That's one quick thing, Stefan. Have you got an illustration of what happens on the mobile handy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me quickly do that. Don't have my mobile because it's brand new. I don't have that connected to the PC yet, but I can show you what it would look like. So on the app, you can choose between different campaigns. We have one here only. And then all you have to do is put an email address in, a name and the first name and last name, telephone number, and then choose which emails you want to send. In this case, even though there are 10 in a sequence, all you need to do is use the first one. The others don't even show here. That's, as I said in the beginning, and that's coming in the background. And then I hit send, and that's it. Message sent successfully. So I will get the first email in my inbox now, and we can take it from there. That's how easy it is. Put an email address in, put a name in, hit a button. That's it.
So first of all, you've managed to get the data, which is a key thing. So you've got a record of the person you've met. It may have been a casual acquaintance at the time. And as long as you learn the simple way to share that information with them, they get that straight away, then they're in your system. They're going to get these emails every 2 days. Up to the follow-up, your personal follow-up is always dependent upon your effort. So you've still got to do that sort of thing, but that's normal. But now you've got something you can talk about because you can reference the sequence that they're receiving and get their feedback. You know, well, it's not for me. Yes, well, that's really interesting. Actually, tell me a bit more about this. So this doesn't substitute for your own follow-up and the relationship building that you do with people. What it does is it supports it and gives you good reasons to do it. Whereas if it's just a kind of casual conversation at maybe you meet someone at an exhibition or a party or some kind of event, and you get chatting a little bit about Zinzino, they go, oh yeah, it's interesting, you know, I've got this health problem, that health problem. Getting round to actually connecting with them again is very often a bit of a cumbersome process. This makes it much simpler.
And that is one more topic there. You mentioned that, and after all these years, I tend to forget that sometimes. That's a big advantage over a simple business card. If I hand out a business card for my business or for the Zinzino business opportunity, then I hand over my contact details as a distributor to the lead. Now the lead goes away. I don't have any chance to contact them. I get in touch with them. That opportunity is kind of gone. If they don't call me back, if they don't get back to me, I've wasted a few cents for my business card, so to say, but even worse, I have wasted the business opportunity to get back to that person. Now with Messenger, we turn that whole thing around. I have the data and I can get back to the lead, which is how it should be, actually, because I want to do the business. If they want to do it, yes or no, that's a different story. We will find out on the way. But if I can't get back to them, then my business card might end up in the pocket and then in the washing machine and dissolve, literally.
Yeah, exactly right. Okay, so thank you for that, Stefan.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions anyone's got that they'd like to raise before we move on? No, you've done a decent job. Thank you. Perhaps you'd stop sharing.
Yeah, I can.
Thank you. Okay, if there are no questions for Stefan, if you need to get on and do some other stuff, Stefan, then that's great. Perhaps you would.
There's a question. There is one question in the chat. I just see that. And Angus has a question as well, but I can't.
You mentioned
hear
a price.
Sorry, Angus. Say again.
You mentioned a price.
Yes.
How much?
That's actually depending on how many emails you want to send and how much how many emails you can handle with that.
Oh, is it per email, is it?
No, it's not per email. It's about the complexity of and the number of templates that you can handle at a time. Nigel will send the do you want to send it in this chat group, in the WhatsApp group?
Yeah, just put it in the chat group. I'm on the wrong computer. I don't have WhatsApp on this one. I'll send it out when I get back down to my own. But it's messenger.com, mesnja.com. So mesnja.com, and you can get all the details there in terms of pricing and availability and so on.
Okay.
So that will cover that. But wait, because there'll be a discount voucher coming out to everybody through the Flawless group, along with the update. Okay.
And there was a question by Paul if there can be videos. There can be video links to YouTube or Vimeo, so you can lead the people back to those. Video is not a format that you can put natively, so to say, into an email. That doesn't work. Never worked actually. So there can be an image, or there will be a preview image of the video, and when you click on the video, on the link, or on the picture, then you will be redirected to YouTube, Vimeo, or wherever you go with that, and can watch the video there.
So you can, I mean, one of the benefits here is that you can combine this with any of the resources that's on the Zinzino website, and zinzino.tv, and zinzinoplay.com, as that tool is becoming more prevalent. So we can build multimedia presentation and links back to your site in order to provide more and more information. And as I say, that's passive. Yes, there's an action taking place. People are going and they're looking at it, they're being curious. But the positive one is for you to be following up, to clarify, to build the relationship, to manage that relationship, put to a point at which people make decisions or not. Then that doesn't matter what that is. What matters is that you're in that relationship process in some way, so that you've got opportunities to go back and revert to them at future points in time where their decisions change. You know, I had a conversation with a guy the other day he was in a new job a year ago, was really excited about it, and now he's not. He's already bored with it. Not so much bored with it, that's wrong. He feels like he's not making any more progress. He doesn't see the options opening to him to progress within the organization in a way which is where he wants to go. So the relationship landscape for people within or outside of yours with them in terms of Zinzino changes all the time. You know, someone going into a brand new job is excited about it, they're committed, they're motivated, they have to be, or the job isn't going to last very long. But that changes over time based on the environment and the experience they have of it. I had a conversation with a woman the other day she's deciding to go out. She's been in an agency environment, which I know really well because I worked in agencies for many years, long time ago, but for many years in agencies. So I understand the nature of them, and they're all the same essentially. And she's thinking about moving onto the client side. She's been offered a job, and she asked my advice about what that might entail, because she'd only ever worked in agencies. So I gave her a bit of education about what happens when you go into a client rather than as an agent within an agency. And it's a very different experience. And I think some of it was a bit shocking. In fact, I know it was, because it's very different. You know, you're substituting one thing for another. So to give her a pause for thought about what she does want. Sarah Topham's actually a really good example of coming from the dark side into this. You know, she's been a lawyer for however many years, and being a lawyer is an interesting game because it's made up of partnerships largely. And again, you're tested on your partnership contribution to the group, you know, how much billing you do and all those kinds of things. It's a pressured job. And again, it's like all of it. You're only as good as the last one. There's no residual in it. Well, there is if you get to an equity partner, but not so much if you're not doing the work. You know, you're still probably putting in 60 to 70 hours a week for the same kind of money you would ordinarily, but it's time for money. It's that equation going on. So people reach decision points for all sorts of different reasons, many of which are not based on real knowledge. Yes, Warren, you were going to say.
Yeah, I want to just add to that point, because a couple of years ago, I approached a lady in South Africa, and she just immediately turned a blind eye to it and said, "Oh, it's a pyramid scheme and all this kind of stuff." And she's a middle-aged woman. She's in the fitness industry, and she lives in an area that's very affluent. So she was doing very well at the time, personal training wise, business wise. And I reached out to her again this week, and now her life has completely changed. She's had an operation in the last 2 years, so now her business has been impacted by that. She's thinking of giving up her personal training business because she's struggling to maintain it so much with her shoulder injury. And now she's open to taking a look. She's in a different place now. Now she wants to have a look, and she needs to do something different for herself. So yeah.
I mean, the value is in the information and how you manage it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I again, I had a conversation with a guy. Do you remember recently there was this attack on India by Pakistani militants in western India, the border between, or actually the jointly managed area. And a friend of mine I knew, or guy I know, have been prospecting for 5-6 years now. He's an Indian. He did an MBA here in the UK. I met him while he was here. We've stayed in touch. He's gone back to India. He was actually on a trip when in that area when all of this kicked off. So I quickly messaged him saying, "I hope you weren't caught up in all that." No, he's blah blah blah. So I would never have known that if I hadn't got him in my data, because that just, I wouldn't have connected it. So every now and then I go back to the people I've been having conversations with who've gone nowhere in the past, but because I know how much things change over time, sometimes very quickly, then that continued conversation, even if it's casual every now and then, just brings you dividends. Sometimes. Others, it takes a very, very long time. Sometimes it never happens, but that's just the way of it, isn't it? So yeah, all I'm encouraging is that persistence and maintaining the relationship. And what we have with Messenger helps you to do that, because it begins the process in a way which is very, it's always consistent. It's giving information that's important. It opens the door to new information because we don't tell them everything. So there's always a way you can go back and nudge them again. Anybody got any? What about your wins this week? Who's had wins? Who's had a win this week? Come on. No wins this week?
Just that one turnaround from me.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Hello, Nigel. Hiya. Hello. We're on our way. Yeah, I had a win with a chap I found. I literally picked up the phone and called him because I liked what he'd posted, and I liked his bio, and I just thought, do you know what? I'll ring him, because if he wants to tell me to get lost, it'll be over and done with quickly. And yeah, he was like, he listened to the first couple of minutes, and then he said, "It sounds great, but not for me right now because I'm just starting this." And I said, "Absolutely fine. Can we connect on WhatsApp? Can I just send you a message, and then I'll check in with you in a month?" He said,
"We've lost you, Jax."
"Because you were disillusioned," and he went, "Yes," and he carried on talking for about why he'd left the health and wellness of the corporate. And I said, would you want to do that privately as an individual? And he said, "What do you mean?" So I said, "I'm not in a position, but you need to speak to my colleague Dave Ives, and he can share a vision of cellular testing to 2050. And he went, "Yeah, I'm interested." Exactly. And I connected them, and called him the wrong name, my mistake. he laughed about that, which was good. But he connected, booked an appointment straight away with Dave.
Good, excellent. That's a real good win.
Yes.
And that just goes to show how initiative works as well.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
other words,
It's just, yeah. Just
you do it.
put it out there.
Yeah, put it out there. I like that. It's like removing a plaster, isn't it? You do it. You can do it the quick way or the short way. The pain's over the pain's over the quicker you do it. unlike
Absolutely.
unlike this doctor who was digging around in my head for 10 minutes. And then he started talking about, I'm just being a little careful of an artery here. And I thought, oh Christ, now I'm going to bleed to death. Anyway, that's my tale for the week. Anybody else got anything they want to share? Sue's not here, but she's had three partners again signed this week, so she's had real wins. I've been busy prospecting, so I haven't had any personals that I can scream about. But I have made I've made about 30 brand new connections this week, apart from the ones I've reached out to. So yeah, that's all grist to the mill, as the saying goes. Anyone else got any comments before we end the call? No? Onwards and upwards. Remember, we've got another, how many days? 14 days, 2 weeks to the end of the month. 200% ECB month. It's there's loads of time to go yet, and the vast majority of the business comes in the last week. So keep at it, people. Keep your foot on the pedal and keep going. Enjoy your week. Speak soon. Bye all.